everyone, I'm Chaz with Board Game Geek, and I'm here today with Justin from Stoneblade Entertainment. And you've brought something that strangely looks somewhat familiar, but in other ways, totally not.
Yes.
So what is this that you have for us today?
Familiar but different. I cannot express how excited I am to talk about what I brought today. So, first, a little bit of background.
Yes.
So hopefully most of the audience knows I make Ascension. Ascension, this is our 10th anniversary year. I've actually
Already?
been 10 years. As of Gen Con this year, that will be the first copy sold 10 years ago.
So
It
cool.
is crazy. So it's been an awesome blessing, and we've made 15 different sets and have expansions all around the world and digital editions and virtual reality editions and everything. We've done tons of cool stuff. I'm like, okay, how do we do something new? How do we do something different? How do we do something crazy?
Yes.
And this is it. It is Ascension Tactics. So you'll see here what looks like a normal, regular Ascension center row. And then you're going to see over here an entirely different thing. Let's see, we'll
Brings
slide.
all this over
A
here.
full tactical game, a miniatures tactical game being built in. And so we have, this is the earliest also I've ever shown anything off on this channel.
Okay.
We are coming to Kickstarter in July. There's still stuff that's getting made and developed and built. So like our fans and you guys can all be interactive and help us actually change it as we go forward.
Nice,
So,
nice.
but we've been demoing it here at GAMA for the first time and people have been loving it. It's been super exciting. Another little piece of background, just so people don't think I'm crazy going into the miniatures world. I actually was the lead designer of the World of Warcraft miniatures game before I made Ascension. And so I've always loved that space. I used to play, 40K and all the games back then. And so I wanted to create something that created that feel of tactical strategy, but that fit well with a deck building game that was fast to play, that had all of the things that people love about quick strategy that changes all the time, and no dice rolling. No dice rolling.
You do have a 40K background now.
Yes. So I want to talk about some of the specifics, but I also want to share, because I can't help myself, the cool thing. Like one of the main reasons why I did this, right? So we took our characters that our Hot Templar, for example, was one of our first characters in Ascension. This is a new art version we had done of him. But what's really cool is this one. Hoping you guys can see this in detail. We will be posting versions of these online, and if you follow us at stoneblade.com/tactics, we will post more of them. But that is our original character that got turned into an amazing sculpt and then hand painted. I love this one. Is our twofold Ascara. You can see like one of our we actually put little rust details in on the things here. And we have an awesome hand painting guy in our office who's great at this. And then our cool little Mechana Initiate. So I only have these 3 guys, but we are going to have dozens of these. And they are all being sculpted right now. They are all being built right now. So we're going to have this really cool way to bring 10 years of Ascension to life in a way that people have never seen before.
How?
How?
How are you integrating this hex-based tactical, skirmish game concept into the Ascension basic mechanisms?
What a wonderful question. I'm glad you asked. So let's talk details. So really, you can start from the base point of assume a normal game of Ascension. You actually start with the exact same center deck. We have the exact same center row, the exact same Mystics and Heavy Infantry is available. But instead of using, so you still use runes to acquire cards from the center deck, and you still try to build your base deck. But instead of using power to attack monsters like we do in original Ascension, every one of your miniatures has a power command cost. And that is how you activate your minis. So
pay the 2 power.
Out of hand to activate it. So one of the challenges that miniatures games has is that most of them go by this classic like I go, you go, everything moves, and the certainty of movement becomes a huge problem because you have these kill zone issues and you have tons of. So by the fact that your hand and the amount of power you have influences which minis you're able to move, it creates that uncertainty. So you may have a giant powerful mini, like in this case the twofold Ascara here is a giant 10-10, but if you don't have the full command in your hand, then it's just going to sit there. It's not going to be useful to you. And so balancing your resources for buying cool new cards to add to your deck and adding more resources versus having enough command to send your minis to the board is the heart of the connection.
So you really are using existing ideas and mechanisms in there to integrate this in.
Yes, exactly. And it's good. That's not the real one. Just don't knock this guy over. So what I wanted to, and from that building block, right, because I think, deck building, when I first made Ascension, right, we were like the 2nd or 3rd deck building game to exist in the world. And back then it was all new and we were just sort of refining what deck building means. Now, 10 years later, deck building it's a building block, right? Everybody knows deck building. There's a million deck building games out there. But now we're going to use that building block that everybody knows and build something that somebody's never seen before. And that's what the miniatures part builds to it. And so for the tactics side of things, we tried to streamline everything that I saw as problems in miniatures games and just get to the heart of what's awesome about it. Okay. So a couple of things on how we do that. Yes. Every miniature has a streamlined movement rate. You have a spawn point here. If you command your minis off the board, you spawn, you can move up to 3 spaces, you can attack anything near you. You can attack or move in any order. Okay. These are our control zones. Okay. If you end a turn in a control zone, you get an honor point. Okay. If you have majority control over that zone. Then we added a really cool element called secrets. If you land on a secret, you get to pick it up, and it has a bonus that only you know what it is. So it could be a bonus to your shields and defense, it could be a bonus to attack, it could be a strike back, so something that changes up the game, that's a strategic long-term component. That is a really awesome kind of connection to it. And then after that, all of it comes down to how the cards are able to modify and update your guys. So for example, we re-envisioned how constructs work in the game. In this one, in constructs, you actually attach it to your miniature and it upgrades your miniature during play. And it can give you all these extra boosts. When your miniature dies, it gets knocked off the board. Any constructs on it go to your discard pile and you'll have to replay them. Okay. And your mini takes 1 turn before he's able to kind of come back and be a part of the game. Okay. So that's kind of the basic overview of it. And at the beginning of the game, this is our sort of basic scenario. The game is actually going to ship with 12 different scenarios. We're working on a few more potentially. So one side of the board will be pre-printed like this. The other side will be printed with just the blank hexes, and we'll have mobile terrain. So we have cooperative scenarios, we have 2v2 scenarios, we have 3-player scenarios, we have all kinds of cool things that tell a story. In some of them, you'll have preset armies. And the nice thing about the armies, so you don't need point building, you don't need to have that like whole setup because everything's costed by their command cost. So better, bigger minis, sure, you could build an army of nothing but monsters.
But they're going to be harder to get out.
They're going to be harder to move, and so you've got to balance that out. In addition, because just sitting with your starting army is not the coolest thing possible, we also added a lot of exclusive add-on miniatures into the center row. So there's a few of the cards in the center row can actually get you new figures for your army, including the monsters in the game, which you actually can spend command to conquer them and bring them to your side, as well as some of our most iconic characters. I love Emery. One of the keywords we've introduced for this set is ambush. Whenever you buy a card with ambush, it does something right away. The ambush effect happens immediately, as well as waiting for you to buy it and do the thing. So Emery will actually kill any figure on the board and then pop up in their space, like any ninja should.
Exactly.
So it is incredibly exciting. The gameplay is fast. A typical scenario will take 30 to 45 minutes, and then you, because of the variability that comes from deck building games, you can play the exact same scenario over and over again and have it be completely different every time. But we layered on top of that all these different scenarios and ways that you can progress. So it's, I've tried to make this the culmination of not just my decade of making deck building games and my 5 years I spent making miniatures games, and really trying to bring something that nobody had ever seen before in honor of Ascension's 10th anniversary and bringing something to life. And then yeah, that's why I'm being here with you and doing this. Again, it's always a little scary for me because, like, I mean, I'm showing you, these are, you know, ugly starting prototypes, and I don't like to show those things off. But I want to involve the community in an amazing way, because I wouldn't be here if not for Board Game Geek, if not for the people that are out there that have been Ascension fans forever, and this is the thing that we can all be a part of. So I'm excited to be here, and I want to invite everybody to come and join us. If you go to stoneblade.com/tactics, you'll get behind the scenes stuff. I'm going to show you not only like the mini sculpts as they're coming in, we'll be talking about game design stuff as it's happening, and I'm even going to be revealing behind the scenes Kickstarter stuff. Because one of the things that I've done a couple Kickstarters in the past, but it's so hard to find good information on how to run a Kickstarter. And there's a lot out there, and we're going to show you as we go through it. Here's the decisions we're making, here's why, and you're going to see whether they work or not, right? And so you can learn along with me, you know, the same way I've been trying to do in my game design courses and the podcast, the Think Like a Game Designer podcast I do, where I talk to really well-known designers and try to teach people lessons cheaply rather than the expensive ways we all have to learn them by making tons of mistakes. So this is hopefully something that can be really collaborative. It's super fun. We've been getting a great response from it at the show, and it's still evolving, and we'll be coming to Kickstarter soon.
Cool. We just have a couple of moments left, but I want just lightning round, some quick questions. The cards and everything. Does the tactics version of the game, does it require its own separate, unique set of cards, or is this going to be compatible, backwards compatible with previous?
It is not compatible with the. We did research that for a while, and the price we were going to pay was too high.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
And also, what did you say was kind of the timeline for the Kickstarter?
So we're going to launch the Kickstarter in July. So we will, like I said, this is super early. We're going to be teasing out information all the way through. We'll have a nicer looking version of this at Origins in June, so people can physically
All right.
play it. And in fact, for the people on our email list that sign up at stoneblade.com/tactics, we're going to work on getting you guys a print and play version too, so you can play not as pretty, not as cool with the real minis, but if you guys really want to see the gameplay and play with it, we will love to get your feedback.
Very nice. Well, Justin, you have definitely taken things to the next level.
Yes,
and
sir.
It's going to be really interesting to see how this progresses this year. So,
Yeah, man. Thanks very much.
yeah, thanks for giving us one of the first sneak peeks.
Yeah, happy to do it.
Yep. And if you want to check it out, check out the Stoneblade Entertainment web, and check out either the Stoneblade Entertainment website or Board Game Geek's page for Ascension for more info, and we'll go from there.